just want you to try to imagine a world where Spider-Man looks like shit, because that's what we're about to talk about.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Controller. I'm Gladys, and joining me once again is Cryptic Panther.
Hey everybody.
And Fatti.
Hey.
So again, Uber is not able to join us. Hopefully next podcast he'll be back. But for now, just the three of us will be handling the show. The three-piece doing it once more. Hopefully only once more. I know. Yeah, if only we had some warning that he would do this every once in a while. You know, if we had like a previous podcaster with him or something. You know? You just never know now.
Some foreshadowing would be nice.
Yeah, some sort of first-hand experience in this exact scenario.
Yeah, well, you know, what can we do? Well, what we can do is we can still cover the gaming news to the best of our abilities. So, first off, Panther, you and I are going to argue, buddy. Tell them about what?
Oh, PuddleGate is all the rage, folks. I'm not sure exactly when this moment in time became upon us, but it's glory. The internet is all a tither, losing their minds. People are literally shitting their pants over the fact that there is less water in the screenshot between E3, and I'm not even sure when this the second photo, when it's actually from. I'm not sure. I didn't go digging that deep because I'm like, all right, let me see. So anyways, I found the two images, and I'm going to link the imager link, and hopefully the imager link is still up. Actually, I'm going to copy this image down and put it in my own imager so I know it's still going to be up and going for everyone to look at. If you haven't seen it, the E3 image is on the top, and it shows Spider-Man overlooking a bunch of bad guys. And there's a bunch of water and puddles all over the ground. And, you know, okay, it looks good. Then this other picture, which is fairly recent, there is the same stance of Spider-Man on the same position on the wall, overlooking the same area, but there's less water. There's less puddles. So people are freaking out saying that they downgraded all the graphics. They've done this to save on performance. That Insomniac's been lying. They're pulling the Watch Dogs. They're just like Ubisoft. And people are shitting all over them for it. Insomniac has come out and said they have not downgraded the graphics. They have not, got rid of real-time reflections and everything else. People are just like making shit up and losing their minds. And like, there's review copies out there. We're going to get, the embargo is probably going to be up the first of the week. And I know there's already some footage online of somebody that has the game early. I didn't watch it because I don't want anything spoiled because I have no idea what's in the footage. But if you look at the two images, okay, yes, there is a decreased amount of water. And I take it you guys have the image up and you're looking at it right now, right, with me?
Yep.
All right. So you see there is a decreased amount of water, okay? And people are freaking out. Well, there's still reflections in the water if you look at it.
Yeah.
The ones that are there. And, okay, I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. They changed the look of it. I mean, what we saw at E3 was pre-release, and we know things change. And, I mean, some of the graphics in that top picture look good. The Spider-Man suit, to me, even though it does look good, the bottom picture doesn't have the same shininess to it, and the lighting is a little different. So I know they changed lighting, and there's actual more ripples in the suit when you look at his left arm and his lower back. You can see there's more rippling in the suit. It looks more like cloth to me. The top one, even though it looks like cloth material, it's kind of shiny, right? Mm-hmm. You know, I know you said that looks better, and
almost
that's fine.
Like it could be leather or something.
Right. It has a different texture to it. I mean, if you look, if you want to really start looking close, I mean, the shadow looks better in the bottom one. It looks lighter, like the lighting is actually changed because his back is more lit up. The spider logo looks better. It's more embossed to me. If you really want to start picking every inch of the suit out, I mean, there's lots you could say.
Well, I mean, I could start arguing with you right now, but go ahead and finish.
Okay. And then another point is I want to say, if you're talking about downgrade in the graphics, look at I don't know if it's an air conditioning unit or whatever it is, right below his left arm. You look at the top picture, everything, there's hardly any detail. Look at the bottom one. Look at just the sheet of metal in there. The fucking detail is amazing. So there's a lot more detail in the image. And then, take a look across the way at the pile of pallet and garbage. The top one is blurry out of focus. The bottom one is crisp. Everything is in focus. It looks a lot better. So where's the big graphical downgrade?
Well, I would point out to the black shading on the four men that are standing. The top picture, you could notice details in their suits, like the guy on the top left there. His left arm, there's just barely a space between his arm and his torso. In the bottom picture, there's not. And the black in them all looks like just one color all the way up and down. On the top picture, on the guy on the right with the body armor, his pants are a different shade than that body armor. And in the bottom picture, they're not. To me, that looks like a downgrade. However, the guy in the center that's, I guess being held hostage or questioned or whatever, he looks better in the bottom picture, strangely enough. I don't know.
I think it might be. I mean, even the guy that's standing in the top left, his suit looks black in the top, but it looks more bluish in the bottom.
Like it just looks like a blur, yeah.
It's not that. I mean, it could be a different motion. Maybe the guy was taking a step in one photo, and I mean, it's a photo on the internet, so we don't know what the compressing is, right? I'm just saying, like, there's sharp and improved detail in other parts of the game where people are nitpicking on the puddle, but I'm like, well, yes, I see that the characters, they kind of maybe lose a little bit of definition here and there, but we don't know if they're moving, if they've changed position, the lighting's changed. There's lots of different things. But I'm talking like other aspects of the image that look sharper and look better in one versus the other. I mean, the argument can be made that there's no downgrade; it's just changes were made. But I don't know. Like I said, you had some points against it. I know you were arguing with me pre-podcast, and
well,
Fatti had to step in.
Yeah, before you guys jump into this and just fucking ramble on for this entire podcast about that one thing you guys were talking about, I want to address something that Panther actually said, and he was talking about the palettes in the background and how in the bottom photo they're sharp and they're defined. If you think of how you view something, if you're focusing on something in the center, what's behind it is often blurry. So the top photo has a more realistic view. And I mean, that's what gamers want nowadays, is fucking realistic bullshit. So if I were to choose one, I'd say arguably the top one is B. It looks like the top one is ultra settings and the bottom one is, I don't know, high, maybe.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But yeah, it's just more realistic. That's how vision works. Whereas the bottom one looks like everything is in focus, and it kind of makes it look almost like a pastel drawing.
But you're not looking through first person in this game either.
No, but with that being the case, just a direct comparison without even like poring over details, for me, clearly the top picture looks better.
Really? All right.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Okay.
Like I said, even though his suit looks kind of like leathery, because that'll give that reflection and that texture to it, to me that top looks so much better. The bottom one looks like a PS2 Spider-Man costume.
Wow.
I wouldn't say PS2. I would say it looks like if I were to throw Spider-Man on my computer right now with how it sits, it's not going to run it on ultra settings. The bottom photo is probably what I'm going to get. It just looks like maybe I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Well, the suit on the bottom looks more natural, the way the ripples are in it and stuff. The texture looks different.
Well, on the blue, yes. I'll agree with you. You see more texture on the bottom one in the
Definitely,
blue.
yeah.
Right.
Not the red. The red looks terrible on the bottom to me.
I think the red, it should be a little bit of a...
Look at his right arm.
The coloring, right, but I'm not talking just like the coloring itself looks a little off, and I admit that. Like I said, I get there's things on both images that aren't right, but like I said, people are just like fucking nitpicking, and they're freaking out, and I'm kind of going to that side of it. It's like, okay, you want to say, though, there's less puddles, less reflections, less this, less that. Well, the lighting is definitely different when you look at the two pictures.
Yep.
Right, one is one stage of development, one's a different stage of development. Look, we don't know everything in the shot, what was done. We don't know how much is static imaging. But even if you look at the bottom, right below his left hand, where that metal thing is with the metal sheet on it, that looks a fuck of a lot more detailed than the top picture. So I mean, the top was a work in progress. So things change, and that's my point. It's things change, and you may not like it, may like it, and I mean, people are arguing back and forth on the internet, and people are taking opinions that other people are, oh, this thing looks like fucking garbage now, I wouldn't fucking buy it, and they're freaking out. And if you're not arguing against it, then you're a fucking Sony and an Insomniac suck boy, and you need to fucking die and you need to, shut your PlayStation off once in a while. Like, people are losing their fucking minds, and that's my point on it. I mean, in my opinion, the bottom picture has some better detail, and the top picture has some better detail in certain aspects of it. But to overall say this is a complete and utter downgrade of graphics is a lie. Right?
Well, I cannot disagree, because there are aspects of the bottom one that look better.
Right.
That is true.
Yeah.
So it's not a full stop like high to medium settings.
Right.
There's at some point between when these two pictures were screenshotted, there's been work done. You can tell that.
Right.
Just different things have been prioritized, or one of them is an earlier build or whatever. But it's weird to me that certain aspects in each one look better. That is weird, because if they were different builds altogether and things have been improved or whatever, it's weird to me that you would see different things that look so much better in each photo. Like, overall, one should look better, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. One should have some better aspect, maybe like completely from point A to point B. But yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. Is it seems like people are screaming it's a massive downgrade, but to me, it just shows that they've changed. And to me, I think lighting is probably the biggest aspect of what possibly has changed here. I mean, I'm not a graphics designer. I don't build video games. I play video games. And I mean, to me, like, yes, they do have some differences. And yes, the amount of water means less reflection. But how can you scream that it's a complete and utter downgrade in graphics when it truly is not?
Well, it's his suit that worries me. I could give a shit about the puddle, the pallets, or the grate down there. It's
Right.
his suit, because in the bottom one, it looks like there's no shadow at all. His back is very well lit. You can see all the details. And even though the knee shadow on the right is in the same location, every part of him is very well lit. And all the red is the same exact shade. That's how you know that, because there's no shadow on any of them to darken it. On the top one, you can very clearly see the top of his head, his shoulders along his arm, and then the front of his right leg. That's very well lit, but everything else is a little darker because it's in shadow. There's no light directly behind him. You can see that there's advanced shadow mechanics, working or whatever. And I think that the suit, again, just looks much, much, much better, because it does show dynamic reflections, on the different parts of him. The bottom one doesn't do that. So if I'm imagining these two Spider-Men slinging through the city, in broad daylight or whatever, I'm gonna want to see the top picture. I'm gonna want to see those shadows and the lights reflected in a realistic way. The bottom one, if he's gonna be the same color no matter where he is, that's gonna look like bullshit to me.
I find that with the bottom picture as well, and this is one of the things that I noticed, was the head looks a little different, because I don't know if he's like he's not in 100%. I don't know if it's 100% exact position.
Well, I mean, none of the player or none of the NPCs in this are. If you look at any of the guys' legs, they're all standing different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like he could have been in like a, I don't know, maybe he's like in a rocking back and forth motion while he's hanging on the wall. So it's not 100% accurate. Like I said, there's some good and some bad. I know, to me, his head on the bottom picture almost looks like on the left edge is almost a little bit out of focus. So whether it's a bit of motion, and I don't know what the compression of this image is either. So, I mean, like I said, there's lots of arguments against the thing, but to scream that it's a complete and utter downgrade is beyond me. That was my biggest thing, is everyone's like losing their mind saying
if they were only talking about the suit, I could agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Differing opinions. I mean, if we all have the same opinion, it'd be a pretty boring fucking podcast.
Yeah.
I guess.
So I guess from this then, which one would you choose? Your own opinion. Top one, you want Spider King?
What?
Spider King. The leather-clad superhero that swings through the city.
Oh, Christ. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, if I'm going to have a realistic Spider-Man, yes. I'm going to want, those shadows, the light reflecting and everything, and I want his suit to look more real. The bottom one doesn't look more real to me. Yes, you can see the blue muscle like rippling in the bottom or whatever, you get more detail on, it seems, his torso. And then up into the arms a little bit. But the legs in both pictures, regardless of the shadow difference, looks almost identical. Like from the waist down, I think it's just about the same in both pictures. Almost.
I think, to me, the red on the bottom one just needs to be like a tiny bit darker, in my opinion. other than that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the shiny is fine. It doesn't bother me. But like I said, it's to me the blue part of the suit in the bottom looks a lot better to me, and that's where I'm like, well, that looks better. The top one, his forearm looks better in the red than it does on the bottom one in the red. But that's only one little spot. The rest of the suit in the bottom looks better, like the details.
Well, it's like they traded. In the top one, the red looks much better on his textures, and in the bottom one, his blue one looks much better.
I even think the spider looks a little more embossed, because that's probably because it's mostly on the blue, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I mean,
I think in the top one, it looks a little sharper.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. You heard it here first. Baker like spider kink.
I guess.
All right,
I don't know.
I think we beat this.
Your bottom Spider-Man with his limp puddles. I mean, whatever. Fuck.
I just know Amazon shipped my game fucking early, and if it's here Tuesday, I'll go fucking play the shit out of it.
Nice. All right, let's move on. I'm a little sad that I didn't get to pick this topic because I wasn't here first, but Fatti,
I put it in here for you.
God damn it. Well, you know I don't grab topics until we actually get in here.
Well,
the
then
day of.
switch your topics then.
No, it's already done.
Too late.
It's done.
We're
Fatti,
into this.
Fatti, talk about SCUM.
All right. Well, as you might know, the survival game SCUM was released not to.
You sound so thrilled. Oh my god.
Yeah. I haven't played it, and I'm mixed about it. Okay. It reminds me of games we already have, and I'm just wondering why. But that's not the topic. SCUM was released not too long ago, and it's this huge, like, open world survival game. I kind of think it's like Rust in a way, but everyone has their own different opinion on it. Anyway, it's already got all of the SJWs and snowflakes all riled up. So recently, the developer decided to remove a few tattoos that players could have on their character, because a lot of people were complaining that they stood for the Nazi propaganda, or what Nazis and white supremacists would use to sort of represent themselves. The tattoos would show up kind of on the back of the character's head, and it was the number 14 and 88, and those resemble two different things within the I don't even know what to call it. Nazism, is that a thing? No,
sure, it is now.
Yeah,
sure, it is now. Yeah, let's just fucking go with it. I'm not going to give them the time of day to figure that out. 14 refers to a statement that Nazis use to basically push their agenda, and the 8 refers to H, which is the 8th letter of the alphabet, which stands for HH. If you don't know what that means, give it a Google. You'll find it out. It's pretty easy. So the outcry came out. People saw this and they got upset, like everyone does. Something happens and people are like, I don't like it. So the initial response from the developers was basically, it's a game, it's fiction. If you're offended by something in this game, please don't play it. They were basically saying, fuck off.
Yeah, they went full Patrick Soderlund.
Pretty much, yeah. They were just like, it's not real. Why are you upset? And they said, if you're upset by this stuff, don't play, because if we start removing things that hurt someone's feelings, it'll be an empty game with no people, no weapons, no blood, no humor, no pooping. Pooping's a big thing, apparently. No killing others, eating human flesh, or killing animals. That's pretty much scum in a bucket right there.
Yeah.
But
that's the scum bucket, yeah.
Yeah, the scum bucket. But I guess they kind of saw where people were coming from, and I don't really know, because I haven't played it, but I don't really know if the Nazis, or Nazism as we're calling it, plays any kind of part in this game. So I'm not sure what these tattoos sort of, why they were in there, I guess.
Well, I can I guess enlighten a little bit on that. So the basis behind the SCUM character creation options is that you're playing basically, and as they responded in their initial statement as well, that you're part of the worst part of society. The scum, that's where the title comes from, is to where you're the worst kind of person. You're a convict that's done terrible things, and everyone else that you'll run into playing this game plays a convict that's done terrible things. So you're part of the worst parts. So for me, it's understandable and kind of expected that there's going to be some real scumbag shit going on, for some of these backstories that these convicts have. Now, you choose your own tattoos, of course, but like any other games, you have emblem creators or whatever, and people will throw up swastikas and everything. I mean, we've had this discussion time and time and time and time again, but it doesn't make sense for those things to be in those other games as an emblem creator or whatever. In this game, in this particular context, it does make sense, though. Maybe that's just me. But, like, if you go to prison and you tell, the warden, hey, line up your 10 worst dudes, the absolute terrible guys that you have here, chances are one of those fucking dudes is going to be a Nazi, right? I mean, like...
And they're probably going to have some gang tats on them.
They're probably going to have some
They're going to be heavily affiliated physically.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I get the outcry for a lot of games where there's some shit that doesn't need to be there or whatever. In a game like this, in this particular context, and when we have this conversation over, Call of Duty World War II and Battlefield 5, it's the same thing of context matters. It really, really does. And in this context, I've got no problem with it being included.
Yeah, and it seemed like the developers themselves didn't have a problem with it either. They explained the rationale behind it, saying that it exactly what you said. This is supposed to embody the worst of the worst. These are criminals you're not supposed to be with, or someone that you want to see survive. But it seems from reading this article, it seems that the decision ultimately came down from Big Daddy Devolver Digital.
Yeah.
They pretty much brought the hammer down and said, we got to get rid of them. They said that they don't agree with the use of this symbology, that's a word, or any hateful content, regardless of the intention, and that they're conducting a full review of all the assets and contents in the game with the developers' Gamepires. So, I mean, personally, I do agree with you. If you're trying to create a character in a game that's supposed to represent the worst of what the world has, then maybe in that context, these symbols would be all right. But they're not exactly necessary.
I agree with that. No, they're not necessary. But the only reason that they're an option, or they were prior to this, is that the option of customization is always appealing to people. Well, almost always. Let me rephrase before that. I mean, it's not full stop every single person ever, but a majority of gamers today want some form of customization in almost everything that they play. And if given the option, most people don't just hit randomize and then move on with their day. If you have the option to customize in a game, chances are you're going to take a little bit of time to do it. Now, some of us don't go crazy with it. Some of us don't really care. And then probably some people do still hit randomize because they absolutely don't care. But a majority, I would say, to some degree, will engage in customization of a character if the options are presented. Now, again, in this type of setting, to where it's a prison island, you play a convict, and it even goes so far as to print out a little card, an identification card for the prison that shows your information. It shows what crime you committed, and later on down the road, you'll be able to even pick that crime. So, I mean, it's crazy to me that the people that know stuff about this game, that know that they want to actually buy and play this game, that support this developer, some of those people are okay with everything else in this game happening, but just not a little bit of ink on the back of a character. That's so strange to me. There's such a disconnect there that everything else is okay, that you can kill other people, that you can stab them, shoot them, beat them to death, that you can chop their bodies into little pieces, that you can eat their bodies afterwards, or that you could wound somebody or kill them or whatever and then shit all over their body or throw up on their mouth. I mean, like, you can you can do so many awful things to the human body in this, and it's more of like an actual physical representation of doing those things than an abstract piece of art that ties to a time period in history or to a group that has certain ideals that we don't agree with as a society, as a race in general. It's I don't know, man. I mean, we argue this to death every time, and I'm always going to come to the same conclusion that I don't understand the full stop of this is never okay in any representation ever, no matter what it's about. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, we touched on using Nazi symbols in games before, and
Yeah.
the general consensus was while they aren't necessary all the time, in most times when they are used, they're used for good immersion, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think, Panther?
This is always such a topic, but I agree
That
with
fucking
Baker.
sigh.
I agree with Baker on this. I mean, as much as I'm not a SJW, I'm not a snowflake by any means, but there's a time and place for stuff, and the biggest reason, the biggest crying complaint is the fact that it's multiplayer. Look at fucking Wolfenstein, the new 1 and 2, fucking Nazi symbols everywhere, right?
Yep.
People are fucking protesting that game like they are a 14 and an 88. Like, I get that people don't like it. I fucking despise Nazis and anything they ever fucking stood for. But to me, this is a fucking small, petty thing to be wound up about, considering, like you said, what you can do in this game. You can be a pretty vile and disgusting person in this game and not have a 1488 in the back of your head. And I mean, it's not like you're zoomed into the guy's skull 24/7 when he's playing. Most people have hats and helmets and everything else on. So then you're not even going to see them. Right?
Well, it's presented in such a realistic manner, not only because it's a tattoo, it's not like if you show up on somebody's screen and you've got a Nazi symbol or any type of ideology like that's abhorrent to a population. It's not just Nazis that were racist. It's not just Nazis that have killed people.
Exactly.
And I agree 100% with their original rebuttal of this to say that, if they're going to start removing things that they think might offend people, they're not going to have a fucking game. I agree with that. Like,
and so do I, because it's exactly like I said. Well, I showed some gameplay to my wife, and she's like, and I mean, yes, I'm immature. I am. Everybody that knows me knows that. And I tell it to everybody that knows me. And it was, like, you take the shit in this game, it's funny because I've never seen it in a video game presented the way it's been presented. But I mean, you can turn this and you could take this to the top level and be just as gross as fuck. But people don't have a problem with someone shitting on someone in a video game or pissing on them or puking on them, but yet having a 14 and an 88. And only people that know what they stand for know what they mean. If you showed this to someone that doesn't understand what that means, they wouldn't have a clue. They wouldn't fucking care. But the people that do know what it means and feel that everybody should be offended by it fucking get worked up over everything. Are these the same people that, are they going to, like the next Wolfenstein game that comes out, are they going to fucking protest? No, they're not going to say a fucking thing because they don't care. They like to pick on shit that's popular at the time, and in 2 weeks' time, they'll forget they're even in the game or ever were in the game and move on, all proud of themselves because they got 2 fucking numbers removed from a video game.
I just really wish that we would stop having this argument about
So do
video
I.
games. Because I feel like the question that needs to be asked every time this is brought up, no matter how many people are protesting it, no matter how loud this gets, I think what needs to be asked every single time is it proper in this context?
Yes,
that one question
exactly.
right there. If you say yes, then shut the fuck up.
Right.
I'm tired of hearing about it. I really am.
Like I said, if it was about just average people on the street that were doing something and you could like put the symbols on them, it doesn't make sense because an average person in the seat doesn't have this shit tattooed on themselves, right?
Yeah.
If it was about a grocery store clerk bagging groceries, no, he's not going to have Nazi symbolism on his fucking back of his head in most cases in a video game.
Right.
Unless he happened to be in Nazi Germany in the 1940s.
Right. But then you answer yes to the question because in the context it makes sense.
Right. And I mean that's the thing. I mean, yes, it's people have abused it, and like I said, in Battlefield 1, the first thing the fucking people did was they made swastikas for fucking tanks, and there was no Nazis in World War One. So the symbolism has lost its value. It's used to trigger people, and apparently 1488 triggered enough people that stirred up enough shit they removed from a video game where you could have a fucking prisoner shit in someone's mouth, but you can't have 2 numbers on the back of your head. Give me a fucking break. Grow the fuck up.
Fatti, any responses to what we've said now?
No. Fucking. I'm tired of this argument.
I am too.
People need to shut the fuck up. Get over it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to say that, again, that one question, the full stop, in this context, does it make sense to have this type of symbolism? Yes. You answer that question, and I mean, that should be it. That's how the developers should respond right there. Within this context, it makes sense. We will not remove it because it makes sense. That's it. And if everybody started answering that way, the crowd would go away about it. Honestly, like, I don't believe that this would still be a thing, but they fucking get their way every time. And getting your way and removing these things is not going to remove it from history either. You know, like, it's, if you read a book on World War II, if you read, a book about white supremacy or any other type of racist group, and their particular symbols and ideology or whatever, you're going to find these things because it actually happened. You can't get rid of that. So in history, you can read about the context that those symbols have been placed in and the meanings behind all those, and it makes sense. I don't see anybody asking to burn all the history books because they don't like this stuff. It's not about liking it or not. It's not about approving of it or supporting it. Obviously, these developers, I can say without knowing any of them, most likely they're not fucking white supremacists and racist. But again, with everything that you can do in this game, you pick one piece that makes sense to be in the game, and that's what you bitch about. It just, I don't understand how, not how people get offended, because they get offended about everything. You can offend people with literally anything you do. I understand that because that's a reality that we live in. What I don't understand is how that small group of people suddenly get so many people supporting them that becomes a wave that developers cave to this shit. That's what I don't get.
I don't
is
think
that people say, you know what, they're right. This doesn't need to be in the game.
The biggest thing with them, the devs, though, it's the publishers. And that's where the thing is, because the publishers got to worry about their bottom line. They got to worry about their face being on something, right? But the biggest thing is, this is the developer, or this is the publisher that publishes the video games they publish are nuts. Like, my friend Pedro is like over the top graphic violence. Look at genital jousting, for fuck's sake.
Exactly. Like I don't see Devolver Digital being like, 2 numbers. We shouldn't have that in there.
You watched their E3 press conference, for fuck's sakes. Like,
exactly. We murdered people on stage, but this shouldn't be done.
Yeah, I get that the pressure causes companies to do things, shareholders and yada yada, and suits, and people get upset by stuff and they feel the pressure, but push back, for fuck's sakes, for us. Like, don't bend every fucking time someone pisses their pants over something. Stand up to them and say, no, this is about prison. You go to any massive major prison in probably most parts of the world, you're gonna find people with a 1480 in their fucking body somewhere
or something.
Right, that's going to be representing of a white supremacist mind, because there's large groups of them, unfortunately, still roaming this fucking earth. And until they find a way of abolishing them all to Mars, then we're fucking stuck with them. So grow the fuck up and stop being a whiny bitch. Stand up for something you need to stand up for, not fuck worry about video games.
There you go. Straight from Beyond the Controller, grow the fuck up.
All right, so over 30 minutes down in 2 topics. Moving on to a much less controversial topic here. I think we can. Is it right? We can all agree, I hope, that the free games for PlayStation Plus in September rock. What do you guys think?
They're not bad.
I have.
Now, I'm not. Well, no. God damn it, Panther. Now I'm not even saying that I am gonna download both, because I'm not. I don't want anything to do with Destiny 2. However, I do recognize that it's a AAA title with a lot of support behind it, and that a lot of people enjoy that. So I can be happy for the PlayStation Plus subscribers for this month, because they're getting a game that, at the very least, is a AAA title that's got a lot of work behind it. It's not some bullshit indie. because that
Right.
that always makes me mad every time we get one of those games.
But there has
Um,
been a few good indies, so I'll give them that. There has been a few good
Well,
ones.
of course, there's a few good
Yeah,
indies,
but I know what you mean. I agree with you on that point.
it was the running joke for PlayStation Plus for I mean how many years,
a long
to
time.
where it was almost nothing but fucking indie games the whole time.
Yeah.
Anyways,
No, it's Xbox.
now it's Xbox. Yeah.
No, but
So
I agree with you. The point that this is the good titles for people to actually sink their teeth into.
yes. So for PlayStation Plus in September, the free PS4 games that you're going to get are Destiny 2 and God of War 3 Remastered, which I think is one of the greatest games of all time. Obviously, we just got a new God of War, but for anybody that hasn't played the God of War series or any of the backlog really, then God of War 3 is, I think, the best of the original trilogy. I think it takes everything way over to the top. It's got bigger boss battles. It's got bigger kills and animations and everything. Everything has just been expanded upon. I don't think it gets better than that in the God of War series, until of course this last one.
Yeah, yeah. And in the previous ones, 3 is definitely the top
Of the
yeah.
original
Oh,
trilogy.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
It also included in the PlayStation Plus lineup is Another World for PS3, and it's a cross-buy with PS4 and Vita. Cube Director's Cut for PS3, also a cross-buy with PS4. Sparkle 2 for PS Vita, and Foul Play also for the Vita. I can't believe they're still doing those titles.
Well, they're all done in what is it? June of next year. They're no longer doing
know.
PS3 and Vita June of next year, isn't it?
Why wait? Just stop it now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, most of those are those. Well, the Sparkle 2 is PS3 and PS4 cross-buy, and Foul Play is PS4 cross-buy. So,
right.
yeah. So I mean, it's the fact they're available on the Vita as well. But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big month considering everything is available on the PS4. That's a first that I can remember. Or it's been a long time since been enough cross-buy. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you should hope someone should be able to find something there to enjoy. I mean, there's a pretty wide range of what's there. So yeah, I'm like I said, I have Destiny 2 because I bought the PS4 Special Edition, the Pro, and I God of War 3 Remastered. I have it as well. But yeah, good games for those two anyways for people. So yeah.
And we actually have 2 bonus games aside from those that are officially listed. As a reminder, PlayLink and PlayStation VR bonus games are available for download as part of the PlayStation Plus membership. The first VR title that we have is Here They Lie. It's a nightmarish city inhabited by strange, malevolent creatures in a first-person horror game. That's available through October 2nd. And then the second one for the whole PlayLink deal is Knowledge is Power. It's a party game that's basically trivia questions and tactical challenges. It's compatible with a mobile device with a companion app, but that's also available through November 6th. So even more.
I think that Knowledge is Power. We've had that a couple times already.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're really pushing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many PlayLink games they have or have down the pipe, but there's been 2 different ones so far, I think.
I
there's been 2 different
believe
ones.
so,
Yeah.
but I'm not positive.
I haven't played them at all, but I think I've downloaded them like I do with everything every month and just usually delete them or
just in case.
Yeah, just in case something happens to be good.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for PlayStation Plus games. Rolling back to Panther. Talk to us about Anthem and what's going on with them.
So BioWare announces Anthem demo release date at PAX West. Everyone that gets to go to these events like E3 and the PAX East, PAX West, and you're lucky, you bastards. None of this stuff ever comes remotely close to where I live because I live the fucking far east coast in Canada, so nothing ever comes remotely close. You get to try all the games, you get to play all the games and shit. It's pretty cool. You're lucky bastards. But they announced they're giving out, or not giving out, there's a demo available for Anthem on February 1st for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. The early play session is being considered a VIP demo and will be automatically available to EA Access, Origin Access subscribers, both the basic and the premier tiers, and those who have pre-ordered Anthem by demo date will also be able to participate. So it's not quite an open one, but you can just have Origin Access and on PC, which a lot of people probably do. I have it, so I'll be getting the demo when it comes out in February. But it's not. It's an honest to goodness demo. It's not like a technical test. Technical tests are usually, to me, are alphas or sometimes even like pre-alpha stuff is more technical tests. But they're giving it's an honest to goodness demo, they call it, and they've been doing they've been doing a lot of internal alphas and betas between now and February. So yeah, so it's good to get some information on it. I kind of wish it was coming before February 1st, but you gotta wait for them to get more development done on it. But yeah, I mean, if anyone's interested in Anthem, you got at least to get a shot at a demo in early 2018.
Woo. Well, I mean, that'd be an interesting birthday present for myself if I gave a fuck, but right on.
Yeah. Are you guys interested in Anthem before we move on? Just real quick.
I am somewhat interested in it. I am not like holding out hopes it's going to be an amazing game. It's a looter shooter. It's kind of like a Destiny-esque game. And the first Destiny I played with friends, it was fun, but it became a grind. And I admit that I burnt myself out on the game, and that was part of my problem. It wasn't the game's problem. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested in see what they can do with it. But I'm not looking to. I mean, I'm gonna have Origin Access Premiere eventually, so I'm gonna have access to the game when it comes out full release. But it's not the driving force behind me getting Origin Premiere, and yeah, it's not like I'm not pre-ordering it. So
right,
interested, but not. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, not Red Dead Redemption excited.
Fatti, what about you?
No.
I love this.
I mean, if you didn't catch my last quip, that should answer your question. I'm just so over anything EA does lately.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and I know it's gonna stop me from playing some pretty great games, but holy fuck, I'm over them. It's just anytime I hear a new release coming out and it's like EA, I'm like fuck.
Not again.
I'm not touching that.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm absolutely gonna stay the fuck away from it. I don't give a shit, not in the least.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it to me looks just like Destiny.
Yeah,
and I don't give a shit about Destiny.
Exactly.
Like I said, I'm just interested to try it. I'm interested to see what they've done with it. Like I said, I'm not like buying the game. I'm not, rushing out to pre-order so I get the demo. Like I said, I'll have Origin either Access or Premiere by then anyways. So I'll play it just for the fact to try it out. But yeah, I'm not. Oh my god, I just can't wait for Anthem. I have a lot of other games that are way above my list I'm interested in before Anthem. So
well, I look forward to that review then.
What's that?
Look forward to that review from when you try it.
Yeah, sure. I'll review it. No problem.
I think even if I had no games installed on my computer except for Anthem, and I had no way to play any other games, I'd end up just throwing out the computer.
Holy yeah, I guess I'll be playing it by myself, or maybe I'll have to make some new friends.
The experience that I had with Destiny was just so terrible and so game breaking. Like I originally had complained to you guys that I didn't want anything to do with how people could just randomly jump in my game. I wanted no part of that whatsoever. And this looks like a very multiplayer focused looter shooter. And I just don't at all find that appealing.
All right. your description of it, I had nothing else to play. I'd throw my computer and that was epic.
I just get rid of it. Yeah. Not worth it.
Wow. All right. You're loud and clear.
Yeah. All right. So I just covered in my last topic the PlayStation Plus free games. Fatti, tell us about what Xbox is getting with games with gold.
You know who else I'm getting tired of?
Me?
No, Xbox games with gold.
Oh, okay.
Man, what a sad fucking year for our service. I don't have PlayStation Plus right now. I have Xbox games with gold though, or Xbox Live, I guess, and I'm deeply regretting my decision. But the games we're getting this month, at least 2 of them are okay. So from September 1st to 30th, Those with an Xbox Live subscription will be getting Prison Architect, which is basically it's like a SimCity sort of top-down creation game. You create a prison, you work out the schematics, set up water and electricity, torture chambers, all that shit. It's actually kind of fun. I have it on PC, and it's a lot of fun. So, kudos. That's a good game. Look forward to it. The next one is called Live Lock, and that'll be coming September 16th to October 15th. That'll be available. And Live Lock is your basic cooperative top-down shooter. Kind of arcadey, I guess. It's not anything crazy. Could be fun if you have a few buddies hanging out, drinking a few beers or pops if you're underage. Don't drink before you're 19 or 21, depending on where you are. But yeah, it could be fun, but I have no interest in it. It's just whatever. And then we have from September 1st to 15th for the backwards compatible and Xbox 360, we have Lego Star Wars Episode 3, The Clone Wars. You know what? The Lego Star Wars games are pretty good.
They are.
I gotta say. Yeah, they're funny.
They're fun to play.
But it's so weird to me that like it seems like a game that would have come out 15 fucking years ago.
Well, it probably did come out almost.
But of all the things that you could choose to give away to your loyal, Xbox customers who play live,
and that's my
this is
fucking
what was
problem with this service is that's all we're getting. No, look, even this next game, the next game available to anyone with an Xbox 360 or Xbox One from September 16th, 30th, the Sega Vintage Collection Monster World. How fucking old is that game? And you're giving it to me to play on my current gen Xbox One that could run games at fucking 4K if you got the X version. You want me to play a game that looks like it's from the fucking 80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
They thought they were
Oh
giving
my
away
God.
Monster Hunter World. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
But the thing is that people were the other way for the first half of this year, and even in the end of last year was, games with gold is so much better. Fucking Sony sucks. They can't do shit. And it was that was the way it was, because in the PlayStation Plus subreddit, people started linking the games with gold, so people could see what Xbox was getting, and everyone was like, "Oh man, look at those games! Fuck, our games suck!" Like that's the way it was for the longest time, and now it seems to have flipped. That kind of Xbox blew their wad on their games with gold, and now they got nothing left. And
I would
now
say
they're-
about halfway through last year is when it started changing. Because before, I loved Xbox Games Gold. They gave it some good shit, but damn, it sucks now.
I still think it's funny that they do one game for one part of the month and another for.
Yeah, that's
Like,
strange.
It's one
Yeah.
like one September 1st to the 30th. You can get that game, and then the 16th to the 15th of October. It just seems really odd that they do it broken up like that. Why not just give like the way Sony does it, give all the games on the first Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever the month or whatever they do. Like it
It's
just
like
seems
they're hoping. It's like they're hoping that you don't get to download them, so they're like reducing how many games they're giving away.
maybe.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a fucking stupid system, but enjoy your Xbox games, kids. Fuck. I don't know.
Shit. Well, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it for that. Games with Gold has never been really exciting for me because I don't have an Xbox.
There you go.
That's one thing. There are a few months where I've been envious, to like you said, they have given away some great titles in the past. So I'm like, God damn, I really wish I could play that. And even over the years, as a non-Xbox owner, I've never had one. I've always wanted one for some of the exclusives that you guys have gotten over the past years. And every time I see an exclusive on there that I've wanted to play, they can only be played on Xbox. I'm like, again, God damn it. I kind of wish I had one of these to kick around every once in a while. But generally speaking, Games with Gold is not really an impressive service.
Yeah, we ain't getting any of those exclusives lately. It's
No.
It's a whole lot of indie.
Well, that's
trash
because
that
there's
one's
no
bought.
exclusives to give away.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like,
Ooh.
there's still AAA titles that are like 3 years old now
Yeah.
that they're still not giving out. I mean, a new Forza Horizon's about to come out, and they just gave us what, Forza Horizon 2
Yeah,
last month.
instead of
Yeah.
3.
That game's like 4 years old.
Well, the same with Sony. They never given out shit. What was that Gorilla game that was launched with the PS4?
Gorilla Game?
Yeah, the Gorilla Games made it.
Killzone.
Killzone. They've never given
Yeah.
out Killzone. People keep calling for that every month. There's a lot of other titles that come out.
Wait
that
a second.
people are-
They did give out Killzone, I thought.
Not the latest one, Killzone 3, whatever
I-
it is.
No, that was Killzone. The fuck is the title? I don't remember it, but I'm nearly positive that they gave that out.
Did they finally give it out?
Yes,
Okay.
I think so. I could be wrong. It's known to happen, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that.
Well, maybe. I think. Well, no, I don't think they did. I think people still, to this day, wonder why it's not been given out for free, considering how old it is. But by now, there'd be no online servers, anyways. I doubt it. So, I mean, if it was developer hosted servers, those would be long fucking shut down. The thing's been out for 5-6 years now, whatever. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's still games that people keep
Gotcha.
begging for. What
It was
was it?
July 2017.
Wow. Okay. There you go.
Killzone Shadowfall.
All right. Okay.
Boom.
All right. There you go. Like I said, people still bitch about games they haven't gotten. And I'm like, whatever, man. I'll just take what I get and move on. And all I can do about it. Me complaining on Reddit's not going to make Sony change their mind.
It's true. All right. Well, let's move on here. Can't believe that we've only got 6 topics in 50 minutes. Those first two just killed it.
Yeah.
They really did.
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it. Panther's like, "Oh, pick a 4th topic." That's what he sounds like before the podcast.
Hey, now.
That's
Fuck
exactly
you.
what it sounds like before the topic or the podcast starts.
Yeah.
Just pick another topic, will you, please? No, Panther. We're not gonna get to it. What we will get to, however, I've got a triple threat here of Battlefield 5 news, and not really good news. First off, the Battlefield 5 has been delayed. They set it back a month. It's going to now be available November 20th. And they released a statement, an update, basically said that to really, condense here, that it's going to make the game better, that they're getting meaningful feedback to where they're making improvements to the core gameplay experience. They're adjusting some things, and that you're going to see some of these changes when the open beta starts on September 6th. But that they believe firmly that they have one of the best Battlefield games ever made. That they talk about the war stories, the battle royale, and then their new live service, which that makes me cringe coming from EA and DICE, because I am an owner of Battlefront 2, and when you talk about live service and EA, fuck you.
Well,
Because we've got next to nothing for Battlefront 2, which is supposed to be the big live service apology for the first one. And fuck, man, you get bent over and they tattoo 1488 all over your body.
oh,
It's
shit.
offensive how little content we've got for Battlefront 2. It really is.
Well, they announced at E3 they have this big, massive Clone Wars expansion coming. So, I mean, they're working on stuff, and like I said,
Right.
they I think the fucking they got on launch is slowed down their live service.
Well,
And
of
I mean,
course it does,
exactly,
but you
like
still
it's-
got to fulfill your fucking promises.
I agree. I'm not defending them. Fuck, I'm not defending EA here. Fuck, I'll be shot. There'll be an assassin at my door before we're done fucking recording, if that's how it's gonna be. But I'm saying is that they fucked themselves. Let me rewind a little bit. They
Yes.
fucked themselves, and now they're trying to hardly to recover from that failure of the launch. And I mean, yeah, I know I'm not defending them, but at least they're still pushing out content. They haven't just said fuck it and abandoned the project.
Right.
They haven't done that. It's not the culling 2, so we're yeah, so the content's taking a little longer than they had planned to get, but at least by the sounds of it, we're still gonna get it. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, just to put it into perspective here, so for Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, each of those had 5 DLCs, like major expansions, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was 5. Yeah.
I think it was 5 each, and each of those had a set of either 3 or 4 maps. I think it was 3. 3 maps, a new game mode, usually a whole slew of new weapons and accessories, different challenges. It was very beefy for each one of those updates, right? And that was, over the next year and a half or so, we would get those DLCs. Now that's because we had a premium service and everything. So now moving into the live service to give you perspective on what live service has meant to EA and DICE for Battlefront 2, we have received less total content in the year that game has been released than we did in even one of those DLC packs for Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4.
Oh, I know. But the Battlefield 5 game itself, hopefully when it launches, is not going to be a complete flop like Battlefront 2 became. And people were still scared from what happened in the first Battlefront to buy Battlefront 2. And I don't think people were upset with Battlefield 1 and the content they got for it. So hopefully those fans will carry over and the sales numbers will be good and there'll be a positive back on it. And it'll kind of resurge the Battlefield series because like I said, I had Battlefield 1, the premium. I hardly touched it because none of our friends that were previously playing Battlefield games, they played it for a little while and they abandoned it and went on to something else. And it was like, well, playing with randoms is painful.
Yep.
So it's just a game that sat on my fucking shelf and it collected dust. And sadly, I had premium and I fucking wasted it. So with Battlefield 5, with no premium and the content that they're getting, at least if it fails, I didn't shell out the extra $60 for premium.
That's true.
And not get the content, not play the content. I get, I'm going to get Origin Premier anyways, so I'm getting the game without having to pay the upfront cost of $80 even for the game itself. So, I mean, it's there's good and bad to a live service. People have been bitching at them for years for splitting the fan base with map packs. So now the fans can say, well, they're not splitting the fan base with map packs anymore. They can stop that fucking argument.
That's true because we're not getting map packs.
Well, that's in Battlefront 2. You can't compare it, man. You can't compare because Battlefield 5 is not out yet. You have, I'm holding out some hope here.
I am being more negative than I need to be right now, and that's just because I have a very sour taste in my mouth from DICE and EA.
I mean, I do too. I'm one of the last people you're going to find defending them, but I'm just trying to be a little more positive and optimistic.
Okay.
I'm trying.
Well, I'll tell you what I don't like though. If we start fresh here and Battlefront 2 never existed, and they announced Battlefield 5 with a live service, and this is the first that we're hearing about it from EA and DICE. And they tell us that means that they're going to keep the community together. There's going to be no premium passes, no splitting the player base, that we're going to get content, every month or whatever. That's fine. All of that sounds great. I would still be worried, however, because when they don't tell us in concrete terms that we're going to get so many expansions, that we're going to get so many maps, or they don't spell out the additions that they're going to make. If they don't make that promise, then they never have to keep that promise. So them saying a live service that they're going to have content constantly flowing and that every month or two we're going to get updates, when they say you're going to get updates and content, that could mean anything. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're ever going to get a new map. And obviously, you want to talk realistically, of course we're going to get a new map and different things to do, and Battlefield is DICE's baby, so they're going to want to take care of this franchise in this particular game. But even so, I don't like buying into this without knowing what I'm going to get from their quote live service. I really don't. I wish that we could get a very detailed roadmap.
I thought they give us a roadmap. Have they not?
It wasn't what I'm talking about. I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Because what I want is, quarter one of 2019, we're going to get, 3 new maps and all that stuff. If they show the same roadmap that they did for the DLC premium package for Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, we knew in advance there was going to be 5 different map packs with different game modes, with different guns, with different challenges. We knew in advance what premium was, and we had to because we spent $60 to buy it. I at least prefer that model because I know that I'm going to get guaranteed things. With the live service model, similarly to Battlefront 2 now, moving out of the hypothetical, if this game doesn't sell as well in the next 2 months before the holiday season, if they don't sell as many millions of copies as they're hoping, we're never going to see that content.
Right, but you're not paying for it up front. You're paying for
We're
the
not,
base game.
but the game will suffer for that.
Oh, I agree. The game is going to suffer, but if you buy the $60 game, you're getting the $60 worth of content. And if they decide that they're not going to give, or the the live service, you want to call it, isn't what the same as what premium was, which it in all fairness it likely isn't, considering they're not getting paid an extra $60 per person to pay for it. I definitely see them not giving the premium amount of content for basically for free, unless everyone buys a shitload of cosmetics and they get a lot of money from cosmetics to put back into content. I mean,
They probably
it's a
will.
give and
That's
take,
what the
right?
game is being built around.
It's
Yeah,
a
it
give and
is.
take.
It is.
It's like, okay, you pay $60 extra for premium, and then you have quarter, or you give like half of the fucking player base not buy the premium, then your player numbers shrink. Or we give you, the live service where you get the base game, the full game for 16, then we give you stuff down the road without an extra charge on top, but you're not going to get the big load you would have got if you had to pay an extra $60. I think there's got to be some give and take, and I mean we can't be expected to get the big premium package for nothing.
I can agree with that.
There's the live service is good and it's bad, and I mean same as the map packs are good and bad. So it's like there's a fucking no win for gamers, right? We're rocking
Not
a hard place.
necessarily.
We're rocking a hard place.
No, I prefer the premium package.
Really?
For sure.
Well,
Yes, I do. I do, because we absolutely got the price of a game worth of content out of the premium that we paid.
True.
We absolutely did.
True. But if you buy it and then you don't play the game, all of Battlefield 1, I just threw $60 at the fucking door. I could have used to buy another game. Right?
Right.
So that's my point of it as well. And the same with Chain for me. I'm looking forward to the live service, and I hope they don't fuck it up.
I agree with that.
Fingers crossed.
The thing for me is just going to be keeping player engagement. It's nobody's going to buy cosmetics if they don't want to continue to play the game. The reason that they want to buy cosmetics is because they're really invested in the game. I mean, literally if they're buying cosmetics, but beyond that is that they want to constantly play this. They want to constantly show it off or whatever. So if you don't deliver meaningful content and new things to keep people in the game, it can't be just cosmetics.
Oh, I agree.
That's not going to keep people in the game. You're not going to continue to play something just because they came out with a new hat. The core gameplay has to be great, which, typically every Battlefield is. But beyond the initial release of the game with all that content, the maps, the game modes, and progression and all that stuff, it'll hit a certain plateau to where if there's not anything new released in that area of that kind of content, then yeah, people are just going to stop playing.
Oh, I agree.
You can't play the same game over and over every time.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I don't know.
And
I
know. To turn to Fatti, we're not going to get much response because he's not interested in Battlefield 5 at all.
Yeah,
he's made that point clear. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like I mean, yeah, it's delayed. People are, people over the internet are still losing their minds as there's female characters. I mean, Jesus Christ. Whatever. Like I'm when I play the game, I'm playing as a female character. I'm going to fucking play as a female character, and if I get the prosthetic arm, I'm giving her the prosthetic arm and purple fucking hair if I can. I don't care. I'm out to trigger everybody when I play it because it's like grow the fuck up. It's a fucking.
I wonder if you'll be able to have tattoos, because if that's the case,
look out! You know what I'm doing.
If you want to trigger everybody, you need to play as a non-binary, gender fluid cyber soldier from the future that has Nazi and Buddhist tattoos all over it. That will truly get everyone's panties in a bunch.
That would. Yeah. That's the left and the right. It'd be the hard left and the hard right would soon be fucking just freaking. Shit. Yeah. So you had two other.
Yeah. I was gonna say, moving on real quick. Actually, we just hit our hour mark. So that's gonna do it. But yeah, real quick, moving on here is there is some Battlefield 5 open beta update notes. That's a lie, because there are no notes. It doesn't really tell you too much other than that they found some things that they learned from the closed alpha. It's just a note from them that says welcome to the beta open notes, and then I don't see any notes.
You don't?
No.
You scroll down, they talk about
that's from the alpha.
Soldier team separations.
Yeah. Closed alpha wrap up, feedback outcome.
Death experience qualities, squad
This wasn't
engagements.
a separate thing. This says open beta update notes.
Yeah,
Those
no,
are
this is all the same. August
that's
31st.
that's from the alpha.
But this is just updated August 31st.
Yeah,
This
so-
is stuff that they've looked at from the alpha to.
So it's just labeled weird for me then.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's
Okay,
there's
maybe
a
that's
lot
it.
of stuff there. I mean we're not discussing all the topics. in
Yeah,
it.
no, we're not going over them in
It's-
either way.
It was never. Yeah, it was never to be put there. It's just that I'm including it in the description. So I wanted to mention so people if they haven't seen it, they get a chance to read it. And,
Okay.
And the other thing was the how to get the access to the open beta.
Okay.
The preload starts September 3rd.
Yep.
Open beta early access starts September 4th, and that is for pre-orders. Origin access and Origin access Premier people get the.
Oh, so I
got
got to sign up for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get the open access on the 4th. The 6th, it opens up for everybody, and it runs through the 11th. So if you haven't pre-ordered or have access to Origin access, EA access, or the Origin access Premier, then you have to wait to the 6th of September. If you have those, preload on the 3rd and play on the 4th. So, and I do have Origin access right now, so I will be preloading on the 3rd and playing on the 4th at some point in the day.
Nice.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, you know what? I've got
There's
the
a-
4th off.
Where you go?
There's a pistol that you can get in this, and its name is Ruby.
Sweet.
I mean, I guess.
I'm trying to be positive about this, guys.
Are you gonna try this at all? I know you like shooters. I mean, do you just stay away from Battlefield all the time?
No. I love Battlefield 3 and 4. Actually, my favorite game on PS2 was Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. I loved it.
Nice.
Battlefield 3 and 4, I still play 4 to this day. I haven't been interested in anything else since then. Hardline was a hard flop. I had no interest in one.
Yeah, I played like the first beta, and I was like, "This is garbage."
I played the campaign just because I was bored and I didn't have any internet when I moved. Beat it in a day.
Well, it's
never
available.
touched it.
That's available on Origin access, and I've thought about downloading it to try the campaign. But I remember I tried to watch someone play, and I'm like, even the campaign was brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm no interest in Hardline. Battlefield 3 is like, well, that's why where I met most of the current people I play with online now, and it's for me and Baker. That was Battlefield 3 back in the day, and I mean 4. I mean, that just it's so soured me at the start. I couldn't get back into it, and 1, like I said, 1, even though like you said, everyone didn't like some of the progression and didn't like some of the lack of attachments, the game was good. The game was.
I don't
good.
know.
So
I'm gonna wait and see what people say and see some videos and stuff. And I might give it a try.
You get the open beta, so you get a shot at it anyway. So I mean, it doesn't, it's not like you got to pay for anything to get into access to the
That's true.
open. So
I think you should at least try the beta. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be our game of the week that week.
Yeah. Okay. I'll
Ooh.
do that. Yeah. If we do the beta for game of the week,
Yep.
then
All right.
we'll try it. And I'll revisit this topic and give you my full consensus if I give a fuck.
Sold.
Sure. All right. Sounds like a plan to me.
So yeah, as we just detailed, that was the open beta. Got the early access, the preload, etc. The beta does end. I don't know if we mentioned that though. It ends on September 11th.
Yeah.
So we've got a full week, a solid week of playing the open beta. You know what I do like though is that with the pushback of the release date, that there will be plenty of time between the beta and the release, because what we saw with I think Battlefield 4 was the beta that started for that. It was only a couple weeks before the release, and they did not figure any shit out to fix that game from
No.
the beta.
No.
Everything was a goddamn mess on release, and maybe they just tried to rush it. Maybe that was it. I'm hoping that them pushing the release date back, because it was already over a month away from the open beta. But now with 2 months in between the beta and the release, that I'm really hoping that we see a lot of polish. I would love to see this Battlefield title come out swinging on release and be fucking solid to where
me
it
too.
plays great. There's no fucking netcode issues. There's no game errors that logs this out or anything like that. Like, I want this game to just fucking work. Please.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what I want. So from what I've seen from the alpha, between that and the Rotterdam footage, I've watched some Broken Machine stuff and a few other clips and videos. The game looks good. It seems that like the game's playing really good so far from what I've seen. They notice there's some things they got to fix and some balancing that's still left to do, but that's ongoing with every Battlefield title, so that doesn't surprise me. So like I said, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm hoping the hell they put out a decent solid title so everyone can get back on the horse, because it was fun.
Yeah, I agree. This notably will be our first PC exclusive Battlefield game.
Yeah,
also
exactly. Yep.
Not that it's being released exclusively. Let me reword that. Panther, that was purely to you.
Yeah.
You and I will
Yeah.
be playing this on PC instead of on PlayStation.
Right. Exactly. That's right.
Just to clarify there.
Yeah. So it'd be like, these motherfuckers don't know what they're talking about.
Well, normally that's true, but in this instance, I meant something different.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're just fresh out of time here. Way too much time spent on PuddleGate and then some numbered tattoos. But yeah, we still got a lot of topics left over. I don't know. Maybe we'll try to pick that up when we have an extra person to lighten the load here on the news.
Yeah.
Who knows? So
Whoever that will be.
whoever that will be, yeah, maybe we'll get another guest appearance. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But of course, everything that we've talked about will be listed in links found in the description of the YouTube video. Of course, if you guys aren't already, go ahead and follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. We've got our individual handles, and of course, the Beyond the Controller page for you guys on SoundCloud. Thank you for supporting us there. It's one of the few places that we do other than YouTube. So, of course, for everybody here at Beyond the Controller, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will catch you next time. Take care.